Okay, I believe we're up. All right. Hello. All right, so I'm gonna get started here. Again, kind of new to this whole YouTube live thing. So if you're here, feel free to pop over into the chat. I got the computer set up a little bit better this time, so hopefully I'll be able to see you. But we're throwing mountain mugs. So I'm gonna start out. I got this little baby piece of clay while people are coming in, making a tiny espresso cup. It was just the leftovers. Throwing small stuff is always a little bit harder than you would think. So, like I said, today I gotta get some mountain stuff caught up, so I was like, you know what? We're just gonna go live with it. Make this little baby espresso cup. Uh-oh. There's my rib. I'm doing something this small. I'm not really planning on trimming it, so just get it shaped how you want it. That's gonna be it. A little wobbly, so we call that the organic rim. All right. And now we're going. So, if anybody's out there, feel free to hop into the chat. I don't see anything, but I saw people were waiting to get in, so let's see. Maybe I'll just check and make sure I got everything going right before I spend an hour throwing and realize it wasn't set up right. Okay, let's see here. Okay. It says people are in here, but I don't see anything in the chat. So if you're here, let me know. All right. I've got the laser out today. So I'm going to turn this on after I throw. If you use a laser, I tape this top piece so it doesn't blind me in the face. But the reason that you want the laser is it allows you to get consistent shapes. So let's see, this piece here is a little stuck. But yeah, I use the laser as my throwing gauge. So if you saw my last video, the Amazon Prime video, I linked to a laser there. But I do have a laser linked in here. It's one of my affiliate links, but it's the laser that I'm using today. I like it. It uses a little bit bigger batteries than the laser that I had before this, and it allows me to dim the brightness, which helps me be able to, have to change the batteries less. So I'm trying to get stuff ready to sell back online again. So, oh, there goes the chats. All right, hello. Awesome. Thanks for, we got Chicago, North Carolina, Arkansas. Love it. All right, so yeah, I'm trying to get my online supply back up and running, and so it just really helps if you have consistent shapes so that you don't have to make like 100 listings. You know, I can have one listing with the different glazes and say, all right, these are all going to be about the same. So Let's get our first mug thrown, and then we'll get the laser set so that we can make all these look the same. So I'm trying to do more of these live streams, but what I don't know is where to get some royalty-free music. So if anybody has a connection to royalty-free music or a suggestion, I would love to hear it, because I'm just sitting here in silence, you know. I think people don't really like that. Alright, so we're going with the classic kind of tapered in bell shape. So I think that's gonna be about what we want right here. Now, let's get that smoothed out and get our laser set up. Okay. Man, the video really makes it look a little bit more wonky than it looks like in person. Okay, so let's make sure that we have this set to level. Okay. Get our edge on. Drop our height down just a little bit. Okay, sweet. So we got our first mug ready to go. Just fix this rim a little bit here. Well, hopefully you should have that chance to buy some stuff online very soon. I'm also working on doing a comparison video of whether or not I can get more traffic to my own site than Etsy can. Well, let's turn this down a little bit. There we go. Risky move touching the laser after you get it set, but so if you are watching the video, you'll see in the description there should be some instructions, but I got nominated for the Best of Grand. Grand is the county where I live, so Grand County. I got nominated for Best Artist and Best Locally Made Product. So, shameless plug, I'm asking for some votes. If you wouldn't mind voting for me, I've got a link in the description plus a kind of instructions. Basically, you got to go to Arts and Entertainment, and then you'll see me under Artist, and then I believe it's Shopping, and then Locally Made Product. So you have to scroll through two different categories. You can only vote once, so it's not like I need you to log on every single day or something. It's just you just have to give them your email so they know you're a real person, and then submit the vote. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing that, I would appreciate it. There is another Potter. So if you see Best Locally Made Product, I am under Pottery and then Bearded Pottery, but there is another Potter, so make sure you're voting for the right one. All right, so let's get that trimmed up there. Okay. I don't know if I want that to be so steep like that. There we go. I think that's more of what we want. That's more of what we want. Let's make that rim a little bit thinner. there we go. So I've got 25 of these mugs to make, so I'm making 3 different sets of 8, and then I'll probably do one freeform. But yeah, I figured I would just go live. So I'll be throwing these, and then after this I'm gonna go and start painting and then carving the mountain mugs. So this clay body is chocolate by Rocky Mountain Clay. So it fires a very dark kind of like almost really dark brown, not quite a black, but if you look in the picture of the thumbnail, that's like the fired finished product. Here's an old one. You can kind of see it fires pretty dark. So I really like this clay body. Throw it over there. It's one of my favorites to throw with. It's very smooth. So if I've been throwing with like speckled buff, it kind of takes me a little bit because it's so soft and you really have to be careful with it. Sometimes this clay is really wet. I like to buy a little bit older. Like this clay is actually from 2023. Sometimes their brand new clay is just too wet for me. And it's more when I'm throwing like bigger bowls, it's an issue. It's just they don't take as much abuse as speckled buff can take when you're throwing with it. You have to kind of be really careful when you're opening up a bowl that you don't open it too fast because it'll flop over. But I have a tendency to just work really quickly, especially when I've been throwing with speckled buff. I mean, it just throws so nice. You can just open the whole bowl in like 1 or 2 pulls. So, but yeah, this is a really nice clay body. It's a little bit more expensive than some of the other clays. I think it's about 20% more than speckled buff. But like I said, I like it. It can be finicky for some people when they fire it. You really need to fire it like kind of like a cone 5.5. It's otherwise it'll start to bloat. I've only had issues with that once. So I don't know if you can see the laser. It's right here. But from where my vantage point is, I can see it pretty good, and it's giving me a really good measurement because I can hit this corner here and the bottom corner, which that one's a little bit wide. And so I can get both of those measurements in from my laser. But yeah, you can see just how soft it is. I mean, I have to be really careful when I'm trying to open this up right now. A little short, but I don't know that I'm gonna get it quite where I want it. So, be all right. Let's trim off that wonky spot. Maybe we can just. There we go. Okay. So now that we've spent too long, deformed this piece enough, and we're really not getting anywhere, we're just gonna have to give in. Just gonna have to give in. Yeah, this clay body and me, we still got some work to do before we get on that nice acquaintance level where I can consistently get the exact shape that I want. Sometimes it just You know, I'll open it up too much or something, and it's just not quite what I want it to be. So standard 266. Hello Richmond. Yeah, standard 266. I don't know that I've ever tried that one out. I'll have to look into it after this session here. I've used some standard clays before, and I definitely like them. Oh, I might sneeze. Hello. Got him. Got the coffee going. You know, played pickleball this morning. But I'm still a little tired. Oh, buddy. Yeah, there's nothing like the pressure of knowing that people are watching you when you're throwing. Like, when I'm in here by myself, it's like, oh yeah, everything just works a little bit better. Then when people start watching me, I'm like, uh-oh. Everything kind of seems like it's a little bit harder. I don't know how you pottery teachers do it. Throwing 4 people all day. I feel like I made this bottom really thick. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's a little thick. Mountain mugs don't get trimmed. They're just a flat bottom. So try to keep them about 1/8 of an inch. Alright, this time let's try to throw it a little bit more narrow before we open it up and see if we can have a better end result. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my allergies are getting wild today. We've had smoke from all the wildfires here all week, and it's finally getting clear, but now my allergies are acting up again. Alright. This one just a little bit high. And now we come back in and set our shape. It's kind of the more appropriate order of events. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Okay, so that's 4. So we're halfway done with the first shape. Ooh. So for the potters watching, what's your preferred throwing gauge if you use one? Would you rather have a laser or the classic, like, metal arms? Why am I making this with such a divot in it? There we go. Yeah, my wrist is also a little bit sore from said pickleball. I've been playing a lot lately, and last night, shoo, I don't know, I must have tweaked something, because all day today it was just like, if I tried to flick my wrist, it just hurt. You know, I don't have that disability insurance, so I can't be hurting myself. Because if I don't have a good wrist, I can't make any pottery. Maybe I should learn like some jokes or something. Hello, Tennessee. I guess that's the real question. Do people need me to be talking and entertaining? Would they rather have music? Or are you just here to just watch and meditate on the sounds of the wheel? Let's see if we can push that in just a little bit. Rim's not quite what we want. That looks better. Sometimes if I have to cut it off like that and it's a little bit short, I don't stress it. You know, I'm like, it's gonna be what? Ooh, actually that is a little short. But whatever. Just a little bit shorter than the other one. It's rather that the overall shape is pretty consistent. That's really all I care about. Oh, nice. Throwing for the week. I like it. Yeah, for me the laser is just nice because it gives me the two axes, the vertical and the horizontal, but then also I'm less likely to bump it, you know, like that was my problem always, was I would always hit the end of the whatever you call it, the metal arm, and I would just be like, oh good, now my measurement's off, so I gotta redo everything. And Joe at Old Forge Creations, he was the first one I saw use a laser years ago. I got chunky in here, I can't get out, there we go. And he actually made a bat insert so he could measure the height and width. And I gotta look into that because that would be really nice for some of these other pieces that I make, to just go ahead and be able to have the bat insert, boom, throw it in there. And really, I mean, you could do it both ways. You could have a shrinking scale, or you could just have it, you know, your normal way. But either way, it'd be nice just to have a set measuring system. There we go. This one might be a little tall. We'll see. Let's open it up and see how wide it goes. There we go. That one came out about perfect. All right. I gotta get the streaming software that I'm using. It doesn't quite show me how long I've been streaming, so I need to figure out a way to get a clock going. So this time I decided to put my live link over on Instagram. So the real question is, how did everybody that's in here hear about the live stream? Did you see it on Instagram, or were you just on YouTube and saw it? Do you have notifications set up? Curious to know how people arrive here. A little wide on that one. So last or two mugs ago was a little tall or short. This one might be a little bit tall. If I was making these for like a order or something, I would probably trim that off just a little bit, but since these are just for online, I like having a little bit of variety. Let's see, one more, and then I'll show you just how they all look, so you can see how the laser helps. Go. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh wow, I was a little late here. Well, thanks, Anne. It definitely looks easier when you watch people doing it. How tall is that mug? Probably about 4.5 inches. I try to make these mugs about 14 ounces. Let's see. Oh, nice, YouTube. I don't use a chamois to smooth out the rim, especially not with this clay because there's no grog in it. Sometimes I will when I'm using like speckled buff, but for me there's really no need. I can just use my fingers. I don't use the sponge typically. Like the yellow sponges, when I'm smoothing out the rims, I'll just hold it up. These are like so kind of grainy, they end up making the surface rougher than if you just use your finger. So I used to use the sponge and I was like, man, my rims are so rough. But yeah, and right now I don't have a chamois. It's somewhere in the studio, so it's also the reason why I don't use it. But I never really used it with this clay anyways. And I've found, even with speckled buff, if I just take a second and just use my finger to smooth it out, it's usually pretty good. Now, if you were going for like a really fine, like thin rim, like something like a teacup, yeah, I'd probably end up using a chamois for that, just because rims on those end up being so small. But for this, finger works just fine. I hear there's a lot of birds watching this. Hope you guys are doing well. Can't wait to see you soon. And if you know, you know. Okay, let's see if we can get this shape. Yeah, see, I said wouldn't do that, and then I just used the sponge. But then I'll go back in and still kind of... I'm just trying to decide. Yeah, see, I was keep going back and forth. I was like, should I cut this rim because it was slightly off, or would I be able to get it close enough with my finger? But we should just go in and just trim that top piece off. Sometimes... just, oh no. Sometimes you just gotta take a second, trim it up. All right, now let's fix the rim. Yeah, this rim is just got some chunkies on it. All right, sweet. So that's the end of those. So I'll take the camera over here so you can see it a little bit better. Trying to use the big sponge to clean the hands off. Okay, so let's see. How'd I do? Do they look the same? Kind of. Not perfect, but they're close. So, the next ones that I'm doing, oh man, these never got cleaned off. Sometimes you forget to clean the bats off. And it didn't clean the edges either, so. Yeah, the next one that I'm gonna do is gonna be more of my standard shape these days. I'd say I'm still getting the hang of doing the tapered shape, but this next shape, Sean, I see you asked about any tips for your first market. I've got a couple videos. If you go back through and watch those, I kind of go over a few things that I've done that really helped, and just kind of some tips and everything like that. So definitely check those out. I'm working on making just a whole playlist for markets. I've got videos filmed of my new display, and so soon I'll have a whole build series for some of that display stuff, but I got to get a few pieces finished up there. Part of it too is just branding, be ready for branding. I always stamp my bags. It's just an easy way to have people advertise for you. To just say, oh yeah, like, there's Pottery. Where'd you get that? So that's a big one. And just kind of knowing the market, like, hopefully it's somewhat close if it's one of your first ones, and then you can kind of figure out if you don't want to bring too much, but you don't want to run out mid-show. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm doing a different shape. Almost forgot that we were changing it up. So we're gonna keep that same height. That ended up working out nice. Let's adjust our width here. Looks pretty good. Okay. But yeah, doing markets is fun. I'd say, the biggest thing is just have a good time, meet the people around you, and then don't be afraid to ask other people that are there questions. Like if you see something with their booth or whatever, just go and ask them. Be like, hey, tell people you're new, and man, these things are real dirty. But yeah, tell people you're new and see what they think. I asked a lot of people the first year I did markets. I would walk around to booths, like my wife would be there, and so that helps if you have somebody that can be there so you can leave your booth. But yeah, then I would just walk around and go talk to people. Talking to people in the beginning of the day and the end of the day is best. Don't be trying to ask people questions about their booth prime selling times. But for the most part, people are pretty nice and willing to share all the info. Oh, I guess the biggest piece of advice would be to make sure you have good weights for your tent. Biggest thing I see people do, especially with ceramics, is they don't have enough weights. And so if you watch that video where I talk about like everything you need to know for an art show, you'll see that I go over weights in there, and I don't really like the sandbag weights that everybody has, but I do like those for displays. I was at a show a couple weeks ago. A girl, one of her displays just fell over. It wasn't even really windy. Still don't know exactly what happened, but I was talking to her later, and I was like, I put one of those sandbags, which is about 25 pounds, on each of my shelves and everything on the bottom. And for me, that just adds a little peace of mind knowing, oh man, I forgot we're doing a different shape. Keep forgetting. It just adds a little peace of mind knowing, okay, like if the wind comes up or whatever, or if somebody just decides to lean on my shelf, then I know it's got some weight on it to keep it from falling over. I'm talking too much. I'm not paying attention to how I'm throwing. So let's try to fix that. Fix the rim. All right. Yep. Another dirty one. Oh yeah, see, somebody said really good tent weights. Yeah, I recommend. I have PVC that I've filled with concrete, and that's kind of my go-to that I recommend everybody do. It's another one that I'm trying to work on a build video for. But basically, you can take a big stick of 3-inch PVC, and I built handles into mine, but then you put in some eye bolts into the concrete, and so you can hang those from your tents. And mine end up being closer to 50 pounds, and I've even resorted to adding an extra sandbag to the weights when I can, just because we've been having some crazy winds out here in Colorado, and so I like to have closer to 70 or 80 pounds on each tint leg. Go. Got a little chunky on that one there. Let's see if we can. There we go. Grabbed it. All of these are dirty, huh? But yeah, tint weights are a big one. You definitely don't want to have your tint destroy your stuff or somebody else's stuff. And there is a insurance company that you can get, and I recommend people do that because it's not much. Like, they have a single event thing, but if you Google like art show insurance, it comes up. I think I talk about it in that video as well. But it really just helps you in case something bad happens. Like, you know, if your tent were to smash somebody's painting booth and they had like 3 $5,000 paintings that got ruined, it would really be terrible to be like, oh, now I need to pay them $15,000 for this. So they have like liability insurance that they add to you, and then like if your tent were to go flying and hit somebody's car, that kind of stuff. So just a little bit of peace of mind. But yeah, as far as the lasers, I used to have a red laser, then I switched to green, and green's so much easier to see. So I'm a big fan of the green over the red if you're in the market for a laser. But yeah, if you haven't bought a laser before, I do have one, an affiliate link in my description here. I can't remember if I said this already, but it's the laser that I'm actually using, so check that out. And then I just have it set up on a little tripod that I had laying around. Let's see, I should be carving a little bit of these off. I wasn't, oh no. More chunky. Oh no. We got a chunk. Come back. Scrape that off. Yeah, I used to not carve around that foot a little bit, but then I was noticing that my wire was sometimes cutting uneven, and then it was really hard to get that smoothed out when I finished the bottoms of these, because I trim them a little bit, but I'm more trimming the sides. Like I said, I keep the bottoms of these flat. I want the edge to just go straight down because I'm going to be adding the mountains to it. So anyways, my feet on the bottom of the mugs weren't level because the wire was lifting up, and I was like noticing that some of my mugs had like a rock to them. They wouldn't be perfectly flat. So once I started adding a little bit of a groove for the wire to sit in, solve that problem. How thick do you make your rims? Not very thick. I like them to be kind of a middle ground. I don't like them super thin because they chip really easy, but people also like to drink from a thinner rim. So I'm probably, let's see, 3/16. No, wait, 3/16 is more than 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, maybe like an eighth of an inch rounded over. So I'd say that's probably 3/32. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, probably make it about 3/32, or just an rounded over eighth of an inch. You know, I haven't been doing construction lately. I forgot the fractions. Or if YouTube has music that I can stream. The old classic, make a cylinder. Don't like that. Dropped this. There we go. Just a couple of more of these dirty bats, and then I'll be back to the normal ones. I'm just gonna throw that one over there. I'm sick of cleaning these off every time. Alright. Going a little slower with these. For whatever reason, I've been coning these with a little volcano in it today, and I think it just made this wall really uneven. So let's see how it throws. Oh yeah, I can feel it. For the non-potters, if your wall is uneven, basically your fingers are going like this, and you're gonna have part of your rim is going to be higher than the rest. Uh-oh. Started that curve a little bit too early. So yeah, you can kind of see how the rim's uneven. That is a result of the walls not being even. So we'll definitely have to cut that off after we finish our shaping. I don't cut it off before because it could change again since the walls are uneven. Uh-oh. Where's my needle tool? Hello, needle tool, where did you go? Oh, it fell underneath my wheel head. Oh. chunky in here. That's not good. This clay's so soft, it's hard to get chunks out. It definitely came because my wheel is kind of dirty. Picked up a chunk on either the tool or the sponge. Can't win them all, you know. I feel about that mug. But, you know, usually the ones I don't like are the ones that people like. Hello, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. See, we got some new people in. You know, at first it was just the family, and, you know, we had the family up in Virginia, and the mountains, in North Carolina. And now we got people from all over the world. Pretty crazy, this whole internet. Base feels a little thick. There we go. I feel like I'm also not doing myself any favors by the way that I throw, where I flip my wrist upside down and I throw with my thumb. Why I started doing that, couldn't tell you. And honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody else throw that way. But I found that it works for me. What happened? I got real short all of a sudden. Whoops. Wasn't paying attention there. I don't know if I just opened it up too much or what, but it got really short. These have been kind of moving more towards the neck shape that I was going to try to throw, which is that more cappuccino style. This one might just have to be the rogue one. I don't know. Sometimes just get wild. There we go. Oh, nice. Glad to hear that the videos are helping you out. It's crazy sometimes to me when I just like think that people even watch the videos, but I like making them. feel like, check these. I feel like I've been making the bottoms of these, one, a little bit too wide, two, a little bit too thick. No, it's right thickness. So if you're wondering what I'm doing there, when I check the thickness, shove the needle tool in until it hits, and then you push your finger down to where it hits the bottom of the clay, and then you know the depth. Let me see if I can move this. Yeah, you'll know how thick the bottom is. So little trick for the people out there. It's not like a big secret. A lot of people know that, but it is very helpful. And then you just kind of feel, and you can kind of get a feel for it. And you're like, oh yeah, like I just know how thick it is. All right. Got that. Okay, so let's shape this one. I think after I'm done with this set, I'll probably go over and start painting the mugs, and then I'll carve out some mugs and kind of show you that step, because I know it's kind of being a longer video. So after this, I'll do that. Transition, if you will. Let's trim this rim. You know, I mean, I'm gonna throw probably like 4,000, 5,000 mugs this year, something like that. And I still have to trim the rims off all the time. I probably feel like it's because I throw a little bit faster, but also I feel like, you know, maybe sometimes I care too much that the rims are perfect, because I don't see a lot of other people having to cut off the rims all the time. But you know, what can you do? Alright, smooth out that rim. Okay. See, this is where it'd be great to just have a studio assistant. Somebody who could just be getting everything else ready, because I got a lot ready today, I was told. Oh yeah, Barbara, I do have the mug tree video in the works, so that will be in the build series. Hello, Ontario. My favorite shape of mug to drink out of. Well, that would be tapered in mug. But right now, it's this mug here. Like the old, like, Stein style. This is probably my favorite mug to drink out of. In fact, that's what I'm drinking some water out of right here with one of the breweries that I make stuff for. All right, let me transition. Give me 1 minute and I'll be back. Okay, so gotta go check on the slip here. It's not quite ready. I let my slip dry out whenever I'm not using it, just because I feel like it mixes up better than if I try to keep it wet and then it kind of dries out. So yeah, I think that'll be good. It's a little bit thick still, but if I combine the other one with this, I bet we'll be in business. Throw that in there. Yeah, so my slip that I use on these mountain mugs is actually just old B-Mix clay. And I just slake it down. So I'm not even sure. I don't have my computer over here. I'm not sure if you can see what's happening or not, but yeah, so then I just mix it up. Throw a little bit more water in there. And then we'll be ready to go. Get that one nice and soaked. Okay, so we'll come over here. Got the old Frank's Red Hot Wings, you know, because I was eating earlier. And I forgot to just have this stuff set up because I got distracted by food, which is per usual. I wish there was a pause button. It's a shame that there's no pause button on this. Let's see. I'm gonna put the computer here so I can see what you guys are saying. Naturally. So, my system here of organization, as you can see, it's really organized. I have misplaced my brushes. So, that's not good. We need this. This is our carving tool. Here's one of the brushes. Okay, is the other brush here? Let's see. Well, for now, this will be good enough. Okay. So, yeah, it's funny. I've got like 50 brushes in the studio. And, oh, Krieger. Missed the old studio, huh? Come hang out. Who makes my stamps? Which stamp? My stamp that I use for the bottom or the stamp that I use for my, like, logo mugs? The rubber stamp is what I use for the bottom. Let's see, I don't know if I can. Yeah, we're just gonna have to do it like this. Alright, so now it's time to paint these bad boys up. Yeah, Krieger, it'd be great to see you over here again, you know. My gut could use a couple new Frosties. Alright. So when I'm painting these on, I'm realizing you don't have a great view of it right now. Let's see if we can change that. Yeah, if Colorado was a little closer. Yeah, I get that. Alright, let's see. Can we get crazy here? Put you in my collar? All right, is that gonna make you sick? Okay. All right, so I've got this piece of foam here. This was just a old couch cushion that ripped apart. And so then I just go through here and just kind of make the outline with my slip. And then I'm gonna carve it away. I feel like this might be making people sick. I don't know if people are enjoying this up-close experience they're getting. I'll tell you what though, it's hot in the studio today. Let's see, we are currently sitting at 76 degrees in the studio. What's going on, Colorado? Doesn't feel like mountainous weather right now. Okay, so yeah, like you can see, I'm just sitting here painting this edge. And we're gonna give you guys a break from motion sickness. Look, there you are. Whoa. Okay. Let's just set it up right here. Yeah, that looks better. Alright, but yeah, so I'm just kind of going through and I just try to make like a nice mountainy looking scene. Then we'll come back through in just a second and paint the rest of it on. And I used to do this when the clay was more of a true leather hard. But now with my new diamond core tool that I use for carving, I prefer the clay to be a little bit drier. It just seems to carve out better. So I let everything go to a bone dry this time. We're gonna see how it is. I feel like my preferred time to carve is like right before bone dry, where it's well past leather hard but not quite this dry. So it'll be curious to see how it all turns out. Yep, I need my studio assistant here so that they could be finding the other brush, because I am going to need to find that before we move to the next step. Unfortunately, because this brush is just too small to fill in all the mountains completely. Let's see if I can paint this in a way that you can actually see it. Okay, so there's that. Give me, I mean, by the time you came, Brittany, I will have already found this brush that is eluding me. One of these days we're going to clean the studio up, and then I'll just know where everything is at all times, and I'll be the most organized person. Found it. Okay, so now we got the big brush. Oh, Emmett's on the chat. Everybody's hanging out today. All right. So I have to put like a little mark on the bottom because I put 2 coats of this slip on, and if I don't have a good starting point, then I have no idea how thick it gets. So yeah, we just sit here and start getting a couple coats on here. Normally, my wife Brittany comes and hangs out with me for this part, and she will be the one who does this painting. I'll do the outline and then she'll fill everything in. And it's a fun way for us to just kind of hang out. Sometimes we'll put a movie on. The mountains take a lot of time, so she'll just come and hang out with me, but then if she paints them, it saves me a lot of time. And so I can just outline everything. She'll start painting it, and then I'll start carving it. So definitely nice to have a friend in the studio. But maybe next time this will be a 2-person live. She'll be here helping me out. She's got to work, you know. Somebody's got to pay them bills. But I guess soon enough, all this stuff will be online, available for sale. And then you guys can just go online and buy it, and then maybe I can help pay the bills. I'm sure Brittany would love that. Make a little bit more money from the pottery. Alright, so when it's bone dry like this, I really just try to carve it right after I paint it, because it kind of wettens the clay up again. I don't know that wettens is a real word, but you know, it's part of the process. You got to wetten it up a little bit. See, I can't tell. Real question is, I need to get the computer over here so I can read the chat. I see things just popping off in there. I'm missing them. Left out of my own conversation. I wonder if there's a way where you can just like get a plug-in that just reads the chat off to you. People would just be saying the weirdest stuff, so I would hear it. There's probably a couple people in this chat room right now that I think if people could hear what they were typing, it'd be awkward. You guys trying to call me out? Alright, so this bad boy right here. Let's see, will it focus? Hey, yeah, focus on this. Come on. I don't know. Anyways, this is the diamond core tool, and let's see. Alright, so I'll just come in here and start outlining the mountains. Let's see if I can just leave you right here. Oh yeah. So yeah, just come in, start carving out the mountains, and that's where this tool is really worth the money. I mean, this, you know, if you know anything about diamond core tools, the name implies they're expensive diamonds because it's a diamond encrusted tip. This tool ran me about $55 for this little pencil here. So, pretty crazy. Even crazier, the fact that I think it's worth it. They had a buy one, get one free sale the other day. And I definitely wanted to go on there and buy some new tools, but I couldn't bring myself to it. I was just like, I ain't trying to go and spend that kind of money right now. I ain't trying to spend that kind of money right now. Yeah, this is carving out really well. So I think this is going to be the new pattern. Instead of trying to carve it out when everything is just leather hard, this just works a lot easier. So first I go through and do the mountains like this, getting that detail going, and then I'll go back in and add the trees. But I want to make sure that I can have the detail in the mountains where I want it, and then fill the trees in between. So, sorry if it's shaking a lot. I try to just shake the dust off, because the clay dust is really dark, and so I don't want it to stay on the mountains. But if you wipe it, sometimes it can get stuck in that white slip and make it not very white anymore. Alright, so then now we're done with that. Flip it around, use the fatter end. That's the skinny end. Use the fat end, and we'll go through and just line out where the trees are going to go. And then switch back to the skinny end. Just give that detail on those trees. I'll have to look and see which diamond core tool this is. After I finish this one, I can grab the box and I'll show you. Man, I don't know how many of these I'm going to end up doing today. My wrist really hurts. And this technique is a lot of wrist action. So yeah, after I'm done with this one, I'll show you, I'll get that diamond core toolbox so I can show you which one that is, and then I'll show you how these look once they've been fired, to kind of show you the final result of how the clay and the sgraffito works. So this is what the technique that I'm doing right now is called sgraffito, and if you've never tried it before, basically it's some sort of underglaze or slip in this case, and then you paint that on and then carve it out. It's like a negative space kind of thing. So that's your piece there. Let's set that down. Let you just stare at it while run and grab that box for you. forgot to cut the laser off and all that time, so I had to go cut that off real quick. Alright, so this is a finished product. I really like the drippiness of this glaze, but that shows you a little side by side. I can get closer. Of how dark the clay gets. And, you know, this does shrink 12%, so kind of a side by side there. And then this tool is the L3. Let's see, can I get it where you can read it? L3 Diamond Sgraffito Stylus Tool. Small, large. Oh, the tool number is on the tool. Oh, well, look at that. I did not know this. Yep, there it is, L3. Yeah, the drips are my favorite. They're kind of a love-hate thing because sometimes they don't work out properly, which is rather annoying when you get them. And I'll grab one. Here, I'll show you one that the drips got a little bit too much on, and then one where they didn't work. So this one here didn't really drip at all. Like, didn't drip at all. This one looks great here, but then it got real drippy. And, you know, I kind of like this. I mean, it's kind of like Pompeii, right? Like, just volcano. But I think it looks cool, but people don't always think that. Had one of the drips land right here where you can see it hit the foot. And I can't see what my camera is showing you, so hopefully it's hitting the right spot. And there's one of the small vases. So there's another bowl. It's got some good drips on it. All right, we're going back. That's how that shape turned out. Not quite. This one kind of got a little wide, but the rest of them pretty good. Little guy. Oh yeah, left the coffee over here. It's a good thing I came by. All right, so let's go paint another one of these up, and then we'll carve it out, and then we'll see if people are bored or if I should keep going. All right. Let's see here real quick. Can I check something? There we go. All right. Looks like there's a few people actually watching. Okay. My letters came off of the bearded. It's just BD Pottery at this point, I guess. Let's do some more painting. Yeah, but I really like having this piece of foam here. It just helps give you a nice base to set the piece on and just separate me from getting it dirty. And it also catches all the drips, all the carving pieces, and then I can just dump it out in a spot so that it's not getting more dusty stuff on the floor. That's always the battle, is can we, let's see, can I put this where you can actually see it? There we go. That's better. Problem is, I'm a right-handed painter. So if you're just tuning in and you weren't here earlier, in the description, I do talk about how I got voted for the best of Grand, which is the county that I live in. And I would really appreciate it if you would go on there and vote for me. I got nominated for the best artist in Grant County and the best locally made product. So it's pretty cool. I think it would be really fun to be able to have like just that little plaque. I don't even think it's a plaque, honestly. I think it's a piece of paper that they give you. But either way, have that piece of paper hanging up here in the studio. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would just log on to there and vote. You can only vote once, so you just have to drop your email in there so they know you're a real person. You don't have to sign up to get any other email notifications, but I would appreciate it. And in the description, like I said, I say like how you find me. There's 2 potters that were nominated, and so make sure you're clicking Bearded Pottery when you go to that. But thank you for your support. All right, Isaac, we'll see you later. I know. Next time you're here, Isaac, you'll have to come in and just be part of the live stream. Or you, Emmett, if you're still here, you know. Maybe we can go do the live stream from the Airstream. The pottery in the Airstream. Could be cool. But yeah, with these mountains, I've found that the smaller brush gives me a better detail for setting this edge, but I do like having like that squared off tip on it, just because it allows me to kind of get the shapes that I want. I tried like a skinnier brush, didn't really like it. So it's funny just how the different brushes really get kind of picky. You know, like I had a brush that I used for my handles, and I was like, man, if I ever lose this thing, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make any more handles. Then I lost it, and I found out that I could replicate it with a different type of brush. But I was kind of freaked out for a little bit. And then I found it like a month ago. It was underneath one of my glaze buckets. So, again, I should probably just clean the studio. Clean the studio, boy. It'll be good for you. I need an intern. An intern would be great for cleaning the space. I wonder if they'd have that. Like a pottery intern? I should check with the colleges and say, hey, if you need a summer intern from a ceramics program, I feel like this would be a pretty cool place to do an internship. Out here in the mountains. Housing's a little expensive, and I don't really think I could afford to provide housing for you, but, you know. Alright, so let's paint it in. Man, we're getting pretty hungry at this point. I don't know if you just heard my stomach, but it was growling. I have no clue how long we've been streaming for. I really wish there was a way that it would tell me. Let's see. Stream. Hour and a half. Okay, I found it. It's a very, very small font at the bottom of the screen. Well, if you've been here the whole time, big shout out to you. Because it's a long stream. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But yeah, so these are the vases that I've kind of been into lately. They kind of have that milk jug, old milk jug style to them. And I don't know, I just really like them. Like everything I've done in terms of vases, I can't seem to do any other shape than these lately. I think they look just awesome. And then they've been selling well too. So I mean, also know that other people enjoy them. And if you found me on Instagram, congrats, because I've not been doing much on Instagram lately. So, if you're a potter out there, what are you doing on Instagram that is working for you these days? And is it fun? Do you enjoy it? Is it annoying? I feel like you can go live on Instagram too, but I don't know that I really know how to do that. So YouTube's nice because they'll keep the video up. So afterwards, the video's still there. Where on Instagram, I feel like the video just disappears. And so it's like, well, if you didn't watch it, too bad. It's over. Let me see. I don't even know if you guys can see what I'm doing. And who knows? How fun is it to watch a man paint? If you're here for it, thanks. I appreciate it. Maybe next time I'll just do a video of me carving, because that's probably a little bit more entertaining. Had to check and see where I was on my go round. Yo, I'm gonna have to throw a chicken patty up in that thing soon. It's kind of my go-to snack / lunch when I'm up here. Just get the chicken patties. This is set to be on the wide camera lens. We're definitely not close up. But yeah, like I said, I'm working on getting all this stuff set up to be online again. During the COVID times, I didn't have anything online. I kind of missed that boat. But then I tried to get stuff online the year after, and then I just got overwhelmed where I couldn't keep up with the wholesale work that I had. So I had to take down the online because it wasn't helping anything. I didn't have time to stay on top of it. So that should be good. Now we're trying to bring it back. All right. So let's do some carving. Get that small tip going again. And stuff like this is just really fun to me. It adds like a nice element to it. I had somebody ask me the other day, they were in the studio, and he was like, "What's the most artistic thing you make?" And I was like, well, it's 100% these mountain series stuff. Because they involve everything, you know? It's kind of like drawing, kind of like painting, and then it's also like the ceramic art part of it. And then there's the glaze art where you're trying to make sure you get the drips. So for me, I was like, yeah, 100% it's the mountain mugs or the mountain vases or the mountain bowls. What else should I do in my mountain series, though? Mountain thumb cups, maybe? Would people like those? Thumb cups have been popular lately. But yeah, this diamond core tool, I definitely think they're worth the money. I mean, some of them, sure, you might be able to get similar results with other stuff, but this just carves so much easier. My hands don't get as tired working with these tools, and that's a big key. You know, it's like if I have 20 or 30 of these to carve at a time, how are my hands going to feel when I'm done? And if I'm really procrastinating, I might have like 50 to carve. That's like when I'm, I guess not procrastinating, that's when I'm cranking out some work. But it's fun to try to just kind of carve and be like, all right, how can I make this look like a mountain? I don't know. Sometimes I think I do a bad job. I've had people looking at stuff and then I'll say something like, I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, the mountain stuff here, each one of these is hand painted and carved, where I paint the mountains on and then carve the trees and the details out. And then people go, oh, those are mountains. Oh, okay, I see it now. And I'm like, oh, dang, what'd you think it was? Just a blob on the bottom of the cup? Like, am I doing that bad that you can't tell these are mountains and trees? So, yeah, you know, sometimes whenever you feel too good about yourself, people always come up and humble you with their innocent comments of, oh, I didn't even know that's what that was. Yeah, then we just make our pine trees here. Making them pine trees. But this definitely has become kind of my signature, like, style or series, you know. So, like I said, if there's other things that I should be making in this mountain series, please let me know, because right now I just make the mugs, the bowls, and the vases. Thumb cups are probably on the list, but go ahead and let me know if I should make those too, because if you don't think I should make them, yeah, let me know, because I'd hate to just make a bunch of stuff that doesn't sell. So maybe I should make some of the vases, but smaller too. I don't have any of these in my really small vases. All right, and just like that, we got another one done. Flip that over. All right. Well, thanks for checking this out. I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So if you're watching the replay, there should be a couple videos popping up. So go ahead and check those out next. But hit me with that like, subscribe, all those things. And I really do appreciate it if you would go and vote for me for the Best of Grand, Best Artist, and Best Locally Made Product. Again, like I said, some people had questions. Check out some of my other videos if you want to know about like ways to start doing art shows and stuff like that. But thanks. I really appreciate it. Peace. Now, stop. Yep.